Hey there, you're looking kind of cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out all my other socials. Enjoy. In the health store, fingers moved along the vitamin shelves. Each bottle promised something different. Energy, focus, better sleep. On a low shelf behind iron supplements were small white bottles with pink labels. The label said, Estrogen support, in soft writing. Dorian's heart beat fast. He looked around the empty aisle and picked up the bottle with shaking hands. He did not know what the ingredients were, soy, isoflavones, black cohosh, dongquai, but the words on the front made his chest feel tight. Natural feminine balance. Finding everything okay? The clerk asked. Yeah, just vitamins. Dorian grabbed a bottle of B12 and went to the counter, still holding the estrogen supplements. The checkout happened quickly. With a brown paper bag in his hand, Dorian went to the parking lot. His old Honda was there. Inside the car, he looked at the bottle again. 60 capsules. Take 2 each day with food. What am I doing? The question hung in the air. But deep down, he knew. This feeling had lived inside him for years, unnamed and unexamined. Now it had a shape, a possibility. At home, his small apartment felt different somehow, more confining. He set the supplements on his kitchen counter next to a glass of water. The first capsule went down easy. Days turned to weeks. Every morning and evening, 2 capsules with food. At first, nothing seemed different. Then subtle changes began. His skin felt softer when he toweled off after showers. The coarse brown hair on his arms seemed lighter, finer. His emotions sat closer to the surface. A sad movie that would have barely registered before now brought tears. 3 weeks in, standing shirtless before his bathroom mirror, Dorian noticed his chest. The slightest swelling beneath his nipples, tender to the touch. His waist seemed narrower, though the scale showed the same weight. His face looked different too, rounder, softer around the edges. This is really happening. The words came out higher than usual. He cleared his throat and tried again, but the pitch remained elevated. That weekend, he found himself at a department store, wandering through racks of clothing he'd never dared explore before. His fingers brushed against silky fabrics, delicate lace, flowing skirts. A purple satin nightgown caught his eye, deep plum with thin straps and a hem that would fall mid-thigh. Can I help you find something? A saleswoman appeared, her smile warm but curious. It's for my girlfriend. She's about my size. The lie came easily. Lucky girl, this would look lovely on her. She held up the nightgown. We have matching panties too if you're interested. Heat flooded his cheeks. Sure, why not? Back home, door locked and curtains drawn, Dorian laid out his purchases on the bed. The purple satin seemed to glow in the lamplight. His hands shook as he undressed, folding his jeans and t-shirt with unusual care. The panties went on first, soft, strange, perfect. Then the nightgown, sliding over his changing body like water. In the mirror, someone else stared back, not quite female, but no longer the man he'd been. The purple fabric clung to new curves, the thin straps emphasizing narrower shoulders. Oh! The single syllable carried years of recognition. That night, sleep came wrapped in purple satin and newfound understanding. Dreams flickered with possibilities, with futures never before imagined. Mornings became rituals, supplements with breakfast, then long minutes studying changes in the mirror. His brown hair, always kept short and practical, now brushed his shoulders. He'd stopped cutting it months ago without really deciding to. Voice exercises followed, recordings on his phone tracking the gradual shift higher. My name is... He paused. Dorian felt wrong now, a suit that no longer fit. My name is Dowie. Yes, that felt right. Soft and feminine, but still connected to who she'd been. The purple nightgown became a gateway. Other purchases followed, a flowing skirt in coral pink, a white blouse with pearl buttons, delicate bras in cream and rose. Each item lived in a box beneath her bed, brought out only when the apartment became her private world. 6 months in, the changes were undeniable. Her breasts filled a B-cup bra. Her hips had widened while muscle mass decreased. The last traces of male-pattern body hair had faded to nothing. Even her scent had changed. Lighter, sweeter. "Sir?" The grocery store clerk's confusion was obvious. "I mean, ma'am? Sorry, It's okay." Doey's voice came out naturally feminine now. She wore her usual jeans and hoodie, but apparently they no longer hid what the supplements had done. That night, she stood before her closet for a long time. The boy clothes hung there like artifacts from another life. In the box beneath her bed, her real clothes waited. Tomorrow was Saturday. No work, no obligations. "Tomorrow," she whispered to the purple nightgown. "Tomorrow I stop hiding." Sleep didn't come easy. When dawn broke, Doey was already awake, heart pounding with decision. She showered, shaved her legs with extra care, moisturized with vanilla-scented lotion. Her brown hair dried in soft waves past her shoulders. The white blouse went on first, pearl buttons catching morning light, then the coral pink skirt, swishing around her knees. A touch of mascara to emphasize eyes that somehow looked larger now, lip gloss in subtle pink. She'd watched enough tutorials to manage the basics. In the full-length mirror, Doey appeared. Not a man in women's clothes, but simply a woman. The months of changes had done their work. She slipped on white wedge sandals, grabbed her purse. When had she bought a purse? And stepped outside. The world looked exactly the same. Birds sang, cars passed, neighbors walked dogs. But everything felt different through Doey's eyes. The skirt moved against her legs with each step. The wedges changed her gait, adding a gentle sway to her hips. "Morning," her elderly neighbor waved from his garden. "Beautiful day, miss." "It really is." The smile came unbidden, pure joy at being seen. The park downtown buzzed with weekend activity. Doey found a bench near the fountain, crossing her legs at the ankle like she'd practiced. People passed without a second glance, joggers, families, couples walking hand in hand. She was just another woman enjoying Saturday morning. "Excuse me." A young woman paused nearby. "I love your skirt. Where did you get it?" "Marshall's, I think?" Doey's voice stayed steady despite her racing heart. "They had a whole rack of them last week." "Thanks, it looks great on you." The woman smiled and continued on. Normal. The interaction was completely normal. Two women talking about clothes. Doey wanted to laugh, to cry, to dance. Instead, she sat quietly, savoring the moment. The day passed in a blur of small victories, ordering coffee with her new voice, using the women's restroom without incident, shopping for groceries in her skirt and blouse, the clerk calling her ma'am without hesitation. Back home, she hung up her clothes carefully. Tomorrow, she'd wear the floral wrap dress she'd ordered online, blue flowers on white fabric, a style that would emphasize her new figure. Monday meant returning to work, but not as Dorian, never again as Dorian. "Hi, this is Doey Martinez." She practiced with her phone's recorder. "I wanted to discuss some changes with HR." The call itself proved anticlimactic. Her company had policies in place, forms to update, new ID badge to issue. Her manager took it in stride, sending out a team email that afternoon. Monday arrived wrapped in morning fog. Doey chose her outfit carefully, the floral wrap dress, nude wedge sandals, minimal makeup, professional but undeniably feminine. Her brown hair pulled back in a loose ponytail, a few strands framing her face. "You look nice." The security guard's smile was genuine as he checked her temporary badge. The elevator ride seemed endless. Would her co-workers stare, whisper? But as the doors opened, she found only mild curiosity and quick acceptance. By lunch, it was as if Doey had always been there. "Want to grab salads?" her cubicle neighbor offered. "There's a new place that opened up." Normal conversations, normal interactions, the extraordinary fading into everyday life. Weeks blended into months. Doey's wardrobe expanded, wrap dresses in different patterns, comfortable wedges in tan and black, cardigans for chilly offices. She developed routines, preferences, a style that felt authentically hers. The supplements continued their work, though the changes had mostly plateaued. Her body had found its new equilibrium. "You seem happy." Her mother's observation came during their monthly phone call. "I am." No explanation yet. That conversation would come, but not today. Evenings often found her at the bookstore cafe, reading in one of the overstuffed chairs. Her reflection in the window showed a woman at peace, brown hair loose around her shoulders, floral dress bright against dark upholstery, wedge sandals dangling from crossed legs. "Is this seat taken?" A man gestured to the chair beside her. "Go ahead." She returned to her book, uninterested in flirtation. This journey was about her, not about finding someone else. The first anniversary of buying those supplements passed without fanfare. Dowie marked it quietly, wearing the purple satin nightgown that had started everything. But it was just sleepwear now, not a costume or secret shame. In the morning, she'd wake up, put on one of her dresses, and continue living as herself. "Dowie, can you take the Henderson account?" Her manager barely looked up from his computer. Already on it. She grabbed her portfolio, heels clicking on tile as she headed to the conference room. The client meeting went smoothly. Her presentation style had evolved, more collaborative, less aggressive than Dorian's had been. Clients responded well to her approach, and the Henderson deal closed by afternoon. Great work. Her manager's praise felt different now. Not the backslapping approval Dorian might have received, but genuine professional recognition. Summer arrived with a collection of sundresses. Dowie favored bright florals, yellow sunflowers, pink roses, blue hydrangeas, always with her comfortable wedges, always with her brown hair styled simply. She'd found herself, and that self didn't need constant reinvention. "Can you believe it's been 2 years?" her coworker marveled over lunch. "Feels like you've always been here." Dowie smiled, spearing a piece of grilled chicken. In a way, she had always been here, just hidden, waiting for the courage to emerge. The doctor's appointment was routine now. Blood work to check hormone levels, general health screening. Legal transition had followed the social one. Updated driver's license, corrected birth certificate, passport reflecting her truth. "Everything looks good." Dr. Patel reviewed the lab results. "How are you feeling?" "Like myself." The answer came without thought. "That's what we like to hear." Prescriptions had replaced the health store supplements months ago. Proper medical supervision, better results. But Dowie kept that original bottle in her medicine cabinet, empty now, but a reminder of where the journey began. Her apartment had transformed too. Gone were the stark walls and minimal furniture. Now plants filled corners, art-covered walls, throw pillows brightened the couch. The space felt lived in, loved, genuinely home. "Delivery for Dowie Martinez?" The doorbell interrupted Saturday morning coffee. "That's me." She signed for the package, recognizing her mother's handwriting. Inside, wrapped in tissue paper, lay a vintage jewelry box. The accompanying note was brief. "This was your grandmother's. I think she'd want you to have it. Love, Mom." Tears came then, unexpected and cleansing. Acceptance took many forms. The jewelry box found a place on her dresser, filled with the modest collection she'd accumulated. Simple pieces, pearl studs, a silver necklace, bangles that chimed when she moved. Nothing elaborate, just touches that felt right. Fall arrived with its demand for layers. Cardigans over dresses, tights beneath skirts. Dowie had learned her body's new relationship with temperature, always colder now, needing extra warmth. Her collection of soft sweaters grew accordingly. "You coming to the team dinner?" Her coworker popped into her office. "Wouldn't miss it." She saved her work, already planning her outfit. The navy wrap dress with small white flowers would work perfectly. Dinner was at an upscale Italian place downtown. Dowie arrived fashionably on time, wedges navigating cobblestones with practiced ease. Her team had reserved a long table in back, wine already flowing. "There she is!" Someone raised a glass in greeting. The evening passed in comfortable conversation. Work stories, weekend plans, gentle teasing about her preference for floral patterns. She belonged here, part of the group without question or caveat. "Can I tell you something?" Her closest work friend leaned in during dessert. "When you first transitioned, I wasn't sure how to act, but you made it so easy. You were just... you." "That was the point." Dowie smiled, sipping her wine. "I finally got to be just me." The walk home took her past that original health food store. Through the windows, she could see the vitamin aisle, those pink-labeled bottles still on their shelf. Some other person's beginning, perhaps. Her own beginning felt lifetimes ago. Her phone buzzed with a text from her sister. "Free for coffee tomorrow? There's something I want to tell you." Of course, usual place at 10? Family relationships had evolved slowly but steadily. Her father still struggled with pronouns sometimes, but he tried. Her sister had become fiercely protective, correcting anyone who slipped. Her mother sent clothes for birthdays now, always floral dresses, always in Doey's size. Sunday morning came crisp and bright. Doey chose a comfortable outfit, her favorite wrap dress with tiny blue flowers, beige wedges, a cream cardigan. Her brown hair had grown even longer, reaching mid-back when loose. Today she wore it in a simple braid. "You look pretty." Her sister's greeting came with a tight hug. "Thanks. What's the big news?" Over lattes and scones, her sister revealed her engagement. The wedding would be next spring, small and intimate. "Will you be my maid of honor?" "Really?" Doey's voice caught. "Who else would I ask? You're my sister." More tears, but happy ones. They spent the morning planning, looking at dress ideas on phones, discussing flowers and venues. Normal sister things that once seemed impossible. "I want you to know," her sister said as they prepared to leave, "I'm proud of you for being brave enough to become yourself." "Couldn't have done it without support." Doey squeezed her hand. "Thank you for seeing me. I always saw you. You just had to show everyone else." Monday brought new challenges at work, a difficult client, a looming deadline, office politics that required careful navigation. But Doey handled each with grace earned through harder battles. Her wardrobe choices had become automatic. Today's pink floral wrap dress selected without conscious thought, wedges slipped on while reviewing emails. "Martinez, you got a minute?" The CEO rarely visited their floor. "Of course." She followed him to his office, pulse quickening. "I'll cut to the chase. We're opening a new branch office. I want you to head it up. Big promotion, significant raise, but it would mean relocating." The offer sat between them, heavy with possibility. Dorian would have jumped at it immediately, but Doey had learned to consider carefully, to weigh options against values beyond career advancement. "Can I have a few days to think about it?" "Of course, but don't take too long. Opportunity like this doesn't come often." That evening, she walked through her neighborhood with new eyes. The coffee shop where baristas knew her order. The park where she read on weekends. The bookstore with her favorite chair. This place had witnessed her becoming, but maybe that was the point. She'd transformed here, found herself here. Now, fully realized, perhaps she could bloom anywhere. "I'll take it." The words came out confident and clear in the CEO's office 3 days later. "Excellent. You'll do great things there." The next months passed in preparation. Packing revealed how much her life had changed. Boxes of dresses, shoes, jewelry. The male clothes were long gone, donated during that first year. Every item she wrapped spoke of the woman she'd become. "Going to miss you." Her team threw a farewell party, complete with cake decorated in florals. "I'll miss you all too." She meant it deeply. The new city welcomed her without knowing her history. To everyone there, she was simply Doey Martinez, the new branch director. Her apartment overlooked a river, sunlight streaming through windows onto hardwood floors. Unpacking became an exercise in self-reflection. Each dress hung in the closet represented a choice, a step forward. The purple satin nightgown, carefully preserved, went in her dresser drawer. Some things were worth keeping. "Welcome to the team." Her new staff seemed eager, excited by fresh leadership. "Happy to be here." She smoothed her dress, blue flowers on white, the first one she'd worn to work, and got down to business. Seasons changed in the new city differently. Winter came harder, requiring boots instead of wedges, thick tights under dresses. Spring arrived late but explosively, covering trees in blossoms that matched her wardrobe. Summer meant humid days that frizzed her long brown hair, teaching her new styling techniques. "You've really turned this place around." The CEO's quarterly visit brought praise and possibilities. "Just doing my job." But they both knew it was more than that. Her leadership style, collaborative and intuitive, had transformed the branch's culture. Dating remained off the table. Not from lack of opportunity, invitations came regularly. But Dowie had learned completeness within herself. Relationships could wait until someone saw her fully, history and present combined. "Why don't you date?" her sister asked during a video call, wedding planning in full swing. "I'm not against it, just not seeking it." She adjusted her laptop, the floral dress bright against her office chair. "I spent so long becoming myself. I want to enjoy being her for a while." Fair enough. But if you meet someone, you'll be the first to know. The wedding approached with its own demands: bridesmaid dress fittings, bachelorette party planning, emotional support for pre-wedding jitters. Dowie handled each task with joy, grateful for inclusion in these feminine rituals. "You look beautiful." The bride's words came through tears on the wedding morning. "So do you." Dowie adjusted her sister's veil, her own rose-pink bridesmaid dress swishing with the movement. "Ready for this?" "More than ready." Standing at the altar, watching her sister exchange vows, Dowie felt complete. The journey from that health food store to this moment seemed both endless and instant. Every choice, every change, every challenge had led here to being fully present as herself. The reception passed in a swirl of dancing, laughter, champagne toasts. Her wedges long abandoned under the table, Dowie danced barefoot with cousins who'd known Dorian, but embraced her without question. Her parents watched from their table, her mother wiping tears, her father raising his glass in a silent toast when their eyes met. "Thank you," her sister whispered during their dance, "for everything, for being you. Thank you for letting me." Back in her new city, life resumed its rhythm. Work challenges met with increasing confidence, weekend explorations of neighborhoods, always in dresses, always in comfortable shoes, hair appointments to keep her brown waves healthy and shaped, the occasional medical checkup confirming all was well. "You know what I love about you?" her assistant mentioned during a coffee break. "You're so comfortable with yourself. It's inspiring." If only she knew the journey to reach that comfort. But that was the point. The struggle was private, the result public. Dowie had become someone who inspired others simply by existing authentically. Year 3 in the new city brought unexpected opportunities, speaking engagements about inclusive leadership, mentoring programs for young professionals. Her story, shared selectively and strategically, opened doors for others. "Thank you for being visible," a young woman approached after one talk. "It helps to see someone like me succeeding." "We all need examples." Dowie straightened her dress, yellow flowers today, and offered a business card. "Email me if you ever want to talk." These connections multiplied. Not activism exactly, just existence as a political act. Every normal day in her floral dresses and wedge sandals showed possibility. The promotion to regional director surprised no one but Dowie. Multiple branches now reported to her, requiring travel, larger responsibilities. She accepted with grace earned through harder transitions. "Congratulations!" The CEO shook her hand firmly. "You've exceeded every expectation." "Just being myself." The response had become a motto of sorts. Travel meant learning new cities, adapting her style to different climates and cultures. But the core remained: dresses in bright patterns, comfortable shoes, brown hair styled simply. Authenticity traveled well. "How do you do it?" a colleague asked over dinner in Chicago. The constant travel, the pressure, all while being so... yourself? "Practice." Dowie sipped her wine, considering. "I spent years not being myself. Now I don't know how to be anything else." Home became wherever she unpacked her suitcase. Hotel rooms filled temporarily with dresses hung carefully, shoes lined up neatly. The purple nightgown always traveled with her, a talisman of transformation. "Ms. Martinez?" The hotel clerk never questioned, never stumbled. "Your usual room is ready." These small victories accumulated. Every normal interaction, every ma'am, every ladies' room entered without thought. The extraordinary had become mundane through repetition. Her sister's first pregnancy brought new joy. Aunt Dowie had a ring to it, a role never imagined in those early days of secret supplements. Shopping for baby clothes became an excuse for video calls, holding up tiny outfits for approval. "You're going to spoil this kid." Her sister laughed at the growing pile of gifts. That's what aunts do. Already planning visits, holidays, a future filled with family she'd feared losing. The baby arrived during a business trip. Doey caught the first flight home, arriving at the hospital in yesterday's dress, makeup smudged but spirits soaring. "Meet your niece." Her sister's exhausted smile said everything. Holding that tiny life, Doey felt the last walls crumble. This child would only know Aunt Doey, would grow up in a world where her existence was unremarkable. The thought brought fresh tears. "Why are you crying?" her brother-in-law asked gently. "Happy tears? Just happy tears." Returning to work meant sharing baby photos, accepting congratulations on becoming an aunt. These normal moments still caught her sometimes. The casual acceptance, the unremarkable integration into typical life experiences. "You'll be a great influence," her CEO mentioned during a meeting. "Kids need diverse role models." If he only knew how diverse, but Doey had learned to accept compliments without explaining their full weight. Years blended together in the best way. Work successes, family milestones, quiet evenings in various apartments. Her wardrobe evolved but stayed true. Wrap dresses remained favorites, florals dominated, wedges provided daily comfort. The brown hair grew longer still, usually worn loose now, a curtain of waves framing a face that had found peace. "Can you believe it's been 7 years?" her mother mentioned during Sunday dinner. "Since what?" But Doey knew. "Since you told us. Since you became... you." The table fell quiet. Her father reached over, squeezed her hand. "Best thing you ever did, even if it took me too long to see it." More tears, but welcome ones. Full acceptance came in waves, each one healing old wounds. That night, in her childhood bedroom transformed into a guest space, Doey pulled out her phone, scrolled back through photos to find none of Dorian. That person existed now only in memory, in documents changed and updated. The woman in the mirror, wearing purple satin, brown hair spilling over shoulders, was the only version that mattered. "Thank you," she whispered to her reflection, to the past self who'd been brave enough to buy those supplements, to take that first step. Morning brought her niece's laughter, breakfast in her mother's kitchen, normalcy so complete it erased years of fear. She wore a new dress, pink roses on navy blue, but the same comfortable wedges. Some things remained constant. "Aunt Doey, will you paint my nails?" Her niece had discovered polish. "Of course, sweetheart." They sat on the porch, small fingers spread on the table, choosing between glittery options. "You're pretty." The child's observation came without prompting. "Thank you. So are you." "Will I be pretty like you when I grow up?" "You'll be exactly who you're meant to be." Doey focused on painting tiny nails, voice steady. "That's the most beautiful thing of all." The visit ended too soon. Work called, responsibilities beckoned, but regular returns were promised, connections maintained. Family meant too much now to let distance interfere. Back in her city, Doey stood before her closet, selecting tomorrow's outfit. Each dress told a story. First day at work, the wedding, various milestones. But they were just clothes now, not costumes or statements. Simply the wardrobe of a woman living her life. Her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Hi, you don't know me, but I heard you speak last month. I'm just starting my journey. Could we maybe talk?" "Of course. Coffee this weekend?" These requests came regularly now. Doey never turned them down, remembering her own isolation in those early days. Coffee became mentorship, became friendship, became chosen family. Her life expanded in ways Dorian never could have imagined. "You give me hope." The young woman across the cafe table twisted her napkin nervously. "That's all we can do for each other." Doey smoothed her dress, white with tiny blue flowers, and leaned forward. "Now, tell me where you are in your journey." Listening became her gift, creating space for others to explore, to question, to become. Her office turned into an informal safe space, her reputation as someone who understood spreading quietly through professional networks. "The board wants to promote you again." The CEO delivered the news personally. Corporate headquarters, big leagues. Once, ambition would have decided instantly. Now Dowie considered carefully. The life built here, the connections, the community, the carefully cultivated garden of her existence, held weight against career advancement. "I need to think about it." "Of course. But Dowie?" He paused at her door. "Whatever you decide, know that you've already succeeded in ways that matter most." The decision took weeks. Long walks in floral dresses and comfortable shoes, phone calls with family, quiet evenings journaling. In the end, she chose to stay. Some promotions weren't worth the cost. "I'm honored by the offer," she told the board, "but my work here isn't finished." They accepted with grace, even understanding. Her value transcended traditional hierarchies now. Summer arrived with a new batch of mentees, young professionals navigating their own transformations. Dowie welcomed them into her office, into her life, offering what she'd lacked: example, support, proof of possibility. "You make it look so easy," one mentioned after a particularly emotional session. "Nothing about this is easy." Dowie adjusted a vase of flowers on her desk, their colors matching her dress. "But it does get easier. And then one day you realize you're just living." That was the gift, really. The ordinary days that had once seemed impossible. Grocery shopping in sundresses, work meetings where her gender was irrelevant, family dinners where she simply belonged. The spectacular made mundane through persistence. Her 40th birthday approached without fanfare. Dowie had stopped counting from Dorian's birthdays anyway. Her life began at 32 in a health food store with trembling hands and desperate hope. "What do you want for your birthday?" her sister asked during their weekly call. "Nothing." And she meant it. "I have everything I need." The party happened anyway. Friends, chosen and biological family, colleagues who'd become dear, her apartment filled with laughter, with love, with people who knew her only as herself. "Speech!" someone called out as cake appeared. Dowie stood, smoothing her dress, purple in honor of beginnings, and raised her champagne glass, looked around the room at faces that reflected her journey. Her parents, aged but proud, her sister, her niece playing at her feet, friends who'd walked beside her, mentees who looked to her for guidance. "Thank you." Her voice carried strength earned through struggle. "Thank you for seeing me." The celebration continued late into evening. But Dowie slipped away eventually, standing on her balcony overlooking the city. Lights twinkled below, lives being lived, stories unfolding. Somewhere out there, someone might be holding a bottle of supplements, taking that first terrifying step. "You okay?" Her closest friend joined her, wine glasses in hand. Perfect. And she was. 40 years old, 8 years into her true life, wearing purple in recognition of how far she'd come. "What are you thinking about?" "Beginnings." Dowie accepted the wine, clinked glasses gently. "And how they never really end." The night was warm, requiring only the lightest cardigan over her dress. Her brown hair, showing the first threads of silver now, moved gently in the breeze. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new opportunities, new moments of ordinary joy. But tonight, surrounded by love in its many forms, Dowie simply existed. A woman in a purple dress and comfortable shoes, living proof that transformation was possible, that authenticity was worth every struggle, that becoming yourself was the greatest adventure of all. The city lights blurred through happy tears. Somewhere, that health food store still stood. Those pink-labeled bottles still waited on their shelf. Someone else's beginning, someone else's journey toward truth. Dowie raised her glass to the night, to the past, to the future stretching bright before her, to purple satin nightgowns and wrap dresses in every floral pattern, to wedge sandals and long brown hair, to the courage of becoming and the peace of being, to herself, finally and forever. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials if you want more content, early access, behind the scenes, and more. All links down below.